When you buy any new mower, they're rated at a certain RPM to the blade. And usually that's at the tip of the blade, at what speed and RPM these blades are spinning. Majority of them are between 18 and 19,000 RPM. And the reason I'm telling you that is because I'm going to show you several different blades today and when you want to use them and why. And so if we go over here, I've got 4 different blades laying here. You've got this with the serrated side. We'll start with this one. So this is a mulching blade. Now, this is from Ballard, but I don't really want you to pay attention to that. But this is only for doing cleanups, mulching leaves, things of that nature. This is not something I would recommend using on a regular yard. And the reason why is because it's not going to stripe as well as a standard lift or a high lift blade, and it just doesn't pull the grass up. So for a blade to pull the grass up, it has to have a sail on it that's lifted, as like this right here. So you can see this lip here at the top. Now, when the higher you get on this lip, the more it's going to pull the grass up. So if you want better stripes and you want better cut, then you're going to have this lip higher and not be like this, because this is going to let air go through it. So this is not going to discharge the grass out of your flap. So when that is spinning, it's not going to pull the grass up to the blade as good, and it's not going to discharge it as far out of your mower. So when you go back over here, this is a standard lift blade. This is, and this is. The difference being is this is a 2.5 inch and this is a 3 inch. Now, the reason that you would want a 3 inch wide blade is because it's going to be a tougher blade. It's going to last longer. You're going to get a lot more sharpenings out of it. The downside is this blade is heavier. So the heavier your blade, the more work and strain it puts on your motor. So one of the things you're going to notice is, let's say you've got hillsides and things like that, and you're trying to mow quickly. The bigger, the heavier the blade, and the higher the lift that you've got on it, the more that it is going to put drag on your motor. So the only time that I would really recommend super high lift blades is in the spring when you're wanting to mow at 4 1/4 to 5 inches high to get that really good looking checkered yard. If you're mowing normal yards and you're cutting below 4 inches, a standard lift blade will work perfectly fine. The other downfall to a high lift blade is you get a whole lot of blowout under your deck. So if it's dusty out and it's really dry out, what's going to happen is you're going to put a high lift on here, just like I've got here. So you're going to put a high lift on there, and then when you put the high lift on there, it's going to blow a lot of debris out of the deck and stuff whenever you're trying to mow. So if you're in real dusty conditions and stuff, you're going to get blowout from the front of your deck and more out of the sides. So in dusty conditions, you would be better off to use a standard lift blade. And I'm going to show you the difference in these two side by side. So this is a high-rise blade. And the reason you can tell that is because the wing is higher. So the higher your wing, the more lift a blade has. So if you look at these two, and we look at them side by side, let me put them both the same way. So you can see how much higher lift this is. This is bent way, way higher on the bar. Now, like I said, that will stripe your yard the best. The higher lift you've got on your blade, the better your mower is going to stripe. Another thing to look at in blades, if you're wanting a really, really long-lasting blade, is you can get them with a tungsten lip right here. You see this lip that's on there that is almost like powder coat? That'll make your blade last longer and hold its sharpness because it doesn't dent as easy as a normal blade that doesn't have that. So if you look here, this blade doesn't have the tungsten on, or the grit on the back of it. Now, my favorite blade to run is a high lift. I normally run high lifts year round. But like I said, I mow a lot of hillsides and my whole yard is really hilly. If you haven't seen my channel and me mowing, what I notice is I can mow faster and I can mow a lot, especially going uphill. I can mow faster with a normal lift blade, and that's what this is here. So if I put a high lift on, like I was saying, I notice a whole lot more drag on the motor. So basically, you would run a blade like this in the fall for leaf cleanup and things like that. That's the only time you would run a blade like this. Now, if you want a really striped up yard, you want it checker patterned, and you have a flat property, this high lift blade is going to be the favorite thing you're going to ever use. It's going to discharge better than any blade, and it's going to stripe better than any blade. Another thing, the longer your lip here, the more grass it can hold when it's spinning around through there, as in catching grass and throwing it out. So some of them are shorter lipped and some of them are longer. But you've also got cutting edge. Some of them are shorter cutting edge. You can see here on this mulching blade, it's much shorter than a normal blade. See that right there? So you've got a real short cutting edge on this mulching blade and a real long one on this medium lift blade. What are you doing? Anyway, I hope that helps a lot of you. And like I said, the high lift is my favorite blade, but it takes a lot more horsepower. So if you're running a very, a motor that is below 30 horse, it's going to be a lot harder for you to run at higher speeds and in thicker grass mowing with a high lift blade. Just keep that in mind.